6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. I think we're, our 14 last at-bats in the first game. We had 14 non-quality at-bats with 7 strikeouts. It's just, that's not gonna cut it. And then in the second game, I thought we beat ourselves a little bit with, we talk about minimizing what we give the other team in terms of freebies and between the walks, hit by pitches, and just the advancement on base, whether it be via errors or extra 90s. There's just way too many. They're a quality ball club, and anytime you give a quality ball club extra 90s and free bases, they'll make you pay for it. And you saw that they hit a couple of long balls, and they also made some nice plays on defense as well. So we knew they were a good team coming in, and we knew we would have to play well, and we just didn't play well. And that's really, we got beat straight up. We played well, they played well. It'd be a totally different feeling. But the disappointing part is just knowing we didn't play our best baseball, and that'll be the challenge for tomorrow.
Questions for Blackwell?
Ben, for you guys, how tough is it to come back, play one inning, and then have to turn around and play another game?
Yeah, neither game was how we drew it up, but we're tough. We'll find a way. That's nothing. We'll play 2 if we have to, and we're way tougher than we showed today, and we'll be right back at it tomorrow.
You mentioned that toughness. Game 2, get down 6-1, but to come back and fight and tie it, what does that say about you and your teammates?
Yeah, all credit to the coaches for preparing us. It doesn't matter how many runs they score, we're going to fight to score more. It doesn't matter what inning they scored in. We know and we believe we can score more the next inning.
Any other questions for Blackwell? All right, thanks, Ben. Questions for Coach?
Coach, you said, back before the season started, you were curious to see how your team would respond to some adversity. Weekends in, what have you seen in that regard?
Getting down 6-1 in the middle of today's game was a good testament to that type of response, and I thought they did a good job. In the inning we scored 4. It was, the top of the frame, they scored 4. The bottom of the frame, we scored 4, but 3 of those runs came with 2 outs. And 2 out RBIs, they're worth their weight in gold, but those are, a lot of times you just got to will yourself to, do something positive there. And, so to see 2 freshmen, Gerald and Hall, get 3 2-out RBIs there to help us get it within 1 and then tie the game up the next inning, I thought that was the response that we needed. And once we tied it up, once we got it 6-5, I knew we were going to come back and win. And once we tied it up, I just figured that we would just, it would be one of those, that's the time where you just keep that pedal down and look to really just separate. But unfortunately, we, fell into some trouble with command issues, and it just didn't work out for us. So we got down 4 more, but we if there wasn't a if we keep playing, I'm 100% confident that we would come back, tie it up, take the lead eventually. That's just the mindset that Ben Blackwell alluded to, and he's got that gritty toughness. Gets a big 2-out RBI double there in the 9th to score a run, and that's the type of mentality that we need, and that will absolutely be on display tomorrow. That type, whatever response we're going to have, if it's anything like I think and the coaches think this team will have, they'll come out and absolutely empty the tank tomorrow, and we will play a much better brand of baseball tomorrow in response to how poorly we played these last 2 games. Because these last 2 games are not indicative of the potential of our team, and that's ultimately that's all you want as a coach, is as a program, as a team. You just want to play well. And that's what championship teams do. They play well consistently, and so to have a dip like this is going to happens to good teams, but it can't be something that is sustained. We got to be able to bounce back. We got to be able to get back to the center. We got to be able to find neutral again, and we're going to be able to execute and play well tomorrow.
Obviously, a tough 2-game stretch, but what are some positives you can pull from that to carry into tomorrow?
Well, we're just, we're figuring a lot of things out. It's one thing to, play in the preseason and think we have an idea of what the roles are going into it, and it's another thing to start playing another jersey. And so I think that whole figuring it out of what the bullpen pieces are and what the, what exactly the roles are going to be, or who the platoon guys are going to be. Those are positives. Anytime freshmen can contribute. Nate Hall made his first start tonight and ends up with a couple of hits and a couple of big RBIs there in the middle innings. But you just want to see guys make positive contributions, whether it be coming out of the bullpen like Ethan Darden did in his first outing and fielding his position really well. And that's something that all freshmen, not just Ethan, but all freshmen, it's that ability to have consistency in their performances, and that's why sometimes freshmen can be up and down, just because it's moving fast for him, and it started to move fast that second inning that he was out there with the bunt play. But there's a lot of positives, but then we need to just sustain those positives and keep those positives as consistent as possible. So when we do have that walk or hit by pitch, it's few and far between. It doesn't end up being something that happens 9 times in a game. Or if we do make an error, it's something that happens once in a weekend, not 3 times in one game. We just have very high expectations for the program, for the team, for the standards of our program. So when we play below those and don't execute, that's what's disappointing. It's we can all handle a loss if we play well, because we know if we play well, we're not going to have many losses, and that's just the expectation, is that we're going to play well and win. That's just Clemson baseball. So it's disappointing to lose a series, regardless of, I don't care if it's a series against UCF in February or we're playing checkers. We don't want to lose anything. So we'll bounce back tomorrow. We'll be fine.
Those bullpen roles, is that something you are still working on, or you think you pretty have that well defined already?
We've got a few guys out, so some guys are stepping up in certain situations. I'm not going to go into who's in and who's out, but we have been a little bit of a mash unit in the bullpen with just some nicks and bruises and dings, and you can tell by who hasn't pitched, by who's out. But we are asking guys to pitch on maybe back-to-back days, or maybe in different roles than maybe what we thought. But that's good. That's all going to callous their mind and train them for opportunities that may arise later in the season. So we may not be solidifying roles in that regard, but as guys are getting opportunities in different roles than maybe what they thought. A guy that like Casey Talent, he's a starter, someone who's a Tuesday starter, but now we need him to come in the 9th inning. Those are Rocco Reed, same thing. We thought he was, talked about him as one of our starters, and need him to come in the 8th inning. So it's just guys being able to pitch in different roles, and having that experience is what's good. Not necessarily trying to pinpoint exactly what those roles are.
Just minor injuries?
Yeah, nothing that's going to be season ending or even long term, but yeah, we do have some guys out that we're looking forward to getting back here pretty quick.
Anything else, Coach?
Coach, you got a lot of production offensively from your 3, 4, 5 hitters and plays where you can't get around, especially with Blackwell. So early in the season, you kind of see that part of your lineup starting to take shape a little bit.
Yeah, those guys have been very productive, contributed very well. A lot of quality at bats. Point out a guy like Cooper Ingle, man, some tough luck ABs for him. I mean, he maybe hasn't had the results or the stats to back up how good he's swinging the bat, but he's making as hard of contact as anybody, and just I think today lined out 3 times. And that's tough. That's tough when a table setter like that. Is be nice to have. He and Grice on base when those 3, 4, 5 guys who have put up some pretty big numbers thus far. Really makes our offense go. But those guys have done a great job. Blake Wright, he's just a good player. Just a good hitter. It's a knack for putting the barrel on the ball, as does Cam Canarella, and Ben Blackwell is just got a lot of confidence. A lot of confidence on the bases, a lot of confidence up the bat. I think everybody feels really good. When we get to the meat of our order, that something good's going to happen.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.
All right,
Thanks,
you guys.
Coach.